What's up, guys? Today I'm at my barber shop and I'm gonna show you how I get my hair cut. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Gent Lounge. I'm George. I'm here with my barber, Alex. We are at his shop, Service and Supply, here in the Arts District in LA. If you have not hit that subscribe button yet, hit that right now. We are here every week talking about men's fashion, lifestyle, and everything in between. And today, we're showing you how I get my hair cut. So Alex, I've been coming to you for 5-6 years now, and if I was coming to you for the first time, asking for the haircut that I normally get, which you can just kind of go with right now, what would I ask for you to give me the proper haircut that I'm looking for?
Well, I think right now it's a little bit easier than it was a few years ago, where you had to kind of maybe look through a magazine for inspiration. I mean, with social media these days, you can find, a hairstyle that you're interested in and bringing in a couple different examples, even if they're incredibly different, we can easily pinpoint what it is you like about each one of those haircuts, whether it's high contrast, whether it's disconnection, or the fact that it is connected. And then we can kind of work through that and see where we can fit those elements into your haircut and also like your lifestyle, because sometimes people will ask for a particular haircut or hairstyle that actually requires a lot of maintenance, whether it's visiting the barber often or it's using multiple hair products, cocktailing as we like to call it, or making sure that you have like the right hair dryer or hairbrush. Maybe that's not something you're willing to do, so maybe we kind of talk you away from that into something that's going to suit your needs a bit smoother. So I would say the best way is to find a couple visual aids and then let your barber do his job and seeing what works best with your density and your texture of hair.
That makes perfect sense. So right now, guys, we're gonna just touch up my hair. As you can see, I have no product in it and it still looks pretty damn decent, which is the sign of a good haircut. Like, if your haircut looks the way you want it to without having to do anything to it, it's probably a good freaking haircut. And today we're just gonna touch up the sides and kind of talk a little bit about other things that you might want to talk to your barber about while you're getting your haircut or even before you get in the chair. So I've seen barbers that will cut your hair not facing the mirror. Mm-hmm. Is that because they don't want you to be like halfway through a haircut, like, could you go a little shorter? Could you do like, is it, or is it like they just want to show you the finished product, like a final reveal?
No, not quite actually. That's a pretty good question. So we use the mirror as another tool, just like we use our clippers or our shears. It actually has a difference in depth. So when I look at your haircut in the mirror, it actually looks further away, which is going to show me more of that contrast that I want to fade out. So it shows me things that when I just look at it with the naked eye, I'm not going to see quite as well.
Well, right, and I guess so when you're that close to someone's hair, it's not how most people look at a hair. Like, if I'm seeing you, I'm not 2 inches away from your face when I'm talking to you. So that's kind of more naturally how you would see the haircut.
Yeah.
That makes I just thought it was a sign of like a barber that was too scared to show you what he was doing before he was done. So guys, I normally ask for a one or a skin fade on the sides, and then I just kind of let Alex do his thing with the top just to leave a little length from the top so I can do the comb over. And today we're just kind of gonna touch that up real quick. But recently, actually, I did ask you if it was possible to move my part a little bit, which I was always kind of scared to ask because I thought it was like a dumb question to ask. And you're just like, yeah, you can move it up, but not too far was kind of the answer. But I actually like my hair so much. It's so much easier for me to style that when we moved it up that like 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, I feel like I don't have like as hard of a part anymore, but I don't have all this extra hair that like flops over to the side, which when I get out of the shower, I can just kind of brush it over and it looks like this. Like normally a week out or something, I would still have to do a lot of like product over here to get it to stay in this direction, and now it's super easy. I freaking love it.
Yeah, so a lot of that has to do with your cowlick, right? Almost everybody will have one cowlick in the back of their head, which dictates growth patterns. So if we set that part a little bit to where it's following the actual growth pattern of the hair, it's always going to fall in place a bit smoother. There are a couple of rules or a couple of exceptions where maybe you want to think about, recession areas, the hairline in front where it's going to look good. So sometimes we can move it up or down. We can play with it within a certain range, but ultimately in the end, your cowlick back here will always kind of determine the best place to part your hair.
For a natural, like, looking haircut.
Exactly, and you always want to go with what's natural, because the moment you start going away from what your hair wants to naturally do, not that you can't, However, it's going to be more difficult. It's going to require more work, whether that means product or that means, you know, different types of styling techniques, using a blow dryer. So if you want something that's manageable and just kind of easy to get going, you don't have to spend too much time and effort, go with what your hair naturally wants to do.
Actually, last time I was here, you mentioned kind of like more about you don't cut hair for other barbers. Could you kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, so I think...
Which I know it sounds like a bad thing, but it, like, when you explained it to me, it made so much sense.
Yeah.
That, like, it was kind of has to do with, you could get those crazy hairstyles that take 1 billion years to style, or you could give something to somebody that is effortless and will look good for 2 to 3 weeks until their next haircut.
Well, I feel like that's definitely one of my goals as someone's barber, you know, as their hairstylist, whatever you want to call it, is making sure that A, they're comfortable with their cut and their style at home. It's something that they can actually achieve. And not just a haircut that, like, I sat here and I spent 20 minutes styling and, you know, putting you next to a ring light, taking a photo and, you know, a bunch of, yeah, it looks great, and a bunch of other barbers and hairstylists are gonna say, oh man, like that fade's so clean and, like, you know, it's styled up so right. But are you gonna be able to achieve that at home? Probably not. There are a handful of clients that I have that I call advanced groomers. And those are the guys where I am more comfortable with, you know, taking things to the next level because I know they're gonna put forth that effort. But most of my clients just wanna look good and they wanna be able to be out of the door in a certain time. And my goal is to make sure that you have a haircut that's for you, the client. So you're happy, you look good, you feel good. That's way more important than, you know, having
Likes on Instagram.
Likes on Instagram for me, because the likes on Instagram don't necessarily mean people are gonna sit in my chair if I'm not producing work that they're comfortable with coming back. So I have guys that come in every 2 weeks. Is probably the most frequent.
Yeah.
There's a handful that come in maybe once a week. Those guys are kind of rare for our shop. We also have guys that come in every 12 weeks. You know, we see them quarterly almost. But you know what? The hair still looks good at that 12-week mark because we pay attention to the shape and how it's gonna grow, and we just kind of maintain in between. So a lot of what we do is we clean up the perimeter around the haircut in between visits. So making sure that these neckline, this line back here of the nape, that it's still wide and natural and you don't have all that extra grow out.
Right.
That really helps maintain a haircut an extra 2 weeks if we're talking about a short buzz cut, because we're keeping it off the ears. We're keeping the nape lines nice and straight and clean. So that's a service that we offer, but maybe at home, if you've got somebody you feel comfortable with keeping that together for you, if your barbershop doesn't offer it, I definitely recommend maintaining,
like a quick trim.
Maintaining those areas, just like with the beard. Like, the most important thing is that you maintain, you know, the line from the cheek up or from, you know, the Adam's apple down. That beard could be as long as you want it to be. If those areas are clean, it lasts a lot longer. Same thing with the haircut. If the outline, the perimeter of it looks good, they don't know whether or not you did a 0 2 weeks ago, or you just got a 3 done, right? Because it looks fresh as long as the outline looks fresh, and the haircut, you know, is one that's gonna grow out well, meaning that we didn't go all the way up and into the round of your head, so that this has the weight that it needs to sit down and be styled.
Exactly. And like we said before, and I think a previous video, the longer your hair, the less maintenance you actually need, which some people think, you know, the shorter, the longer you can go without a haircut. But it's actually, if you have long hair, no one's gonna notice an inch of growth on a longer haircut. On a short, like buzzed haircut, you notice an inch is huge. It's like double what you were working with to begin with.
Yeah.
So, you know, the longer your hair, the longer you can go in between haircuts. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps up the video. I hope this was interesting. I hope you learned something. Comment down below if, you know, we missed something or there's something you'd like to add. If you are in LA, come visit Alex at Service and Supply. He's a shop in Venice and in the Arts District. I will have a link to him down below. And if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, hit that right now. Follow us on Instagram at gentslounge. And I think right now I'm about to buzz my head. So stay tuned for the next one. Cheers, guys.